Okay, so we're at the end of the first meeting, and we're going to talk about how to get the next meeting booked, and then we're going to wrap up. Sort of going to do it in reverse, actually. Yeah. So let's take a look. What are the 9 parts of a first meeting? Look, we should know these. It should be instinctive. It should be in our blood. We should know where we're at. Are we on track? Are we off track? What's going on here? So number one is research. What's number two? Number two is rapport for about 9 minutes, okay? So the rapport is about building up a relationship. Remember, there's 3 stages of rapport, yeah? There's that initial chat about the weather, about food, what you've eaten, holidays. Then you're talking about the research that you've done on them, and then you're talking about the business and the industry, yeah? Which leads very nicely into the next step, which is a segue, yeah? Now this segue, you can't see it, but this segue takes you out of a general chit chat into an introduction of you. Yeah? So you introduce yourself, about 30 seconds. The purpose of the introduction, remember this, okay, is to get to the next step. It's not to pitch your product. It's not to come across as pitchy. I don't want to come across as needy trying to sell you anything. All right, that's the last thing I want to do. I just want to talk about what we do, what it looks like, and then move on. Then we step into a segue that segues us out of me talking and into asking questions about past, present, future. Okay, so the past, present, future is the critical part here. I want to know why they've done what they've done. I want to be asking open questions. I want to be mirroring. I want to be understanding their world, probably in 3 or 4 core areas relevant to how we can engage with them. Then step out of that into a presentation. We can now present what we do and how we do it in 5, maybe 6 slides max, or in a drawing. Personally, I prefer a drawing on the iPad, yeah. And some people like to do it on paper. But summarizing it, having a box, drawing it out, clients like that, okay? From there, you step into a summary. You summarize the conversation. This is what I heard you say. This is where I think, this is what you've done and why you've done it. This is what you're doing now. And these are your plans going forward, right? And in a perfect world, this is where you'd like to be. And from there, you can say, look, I think it makes sense to do this, this, and this. What I'd like to do is come back and do a workshop. I'd like to come back and do a fact find. I'd like to come back and do a demo, whatever you're going to be doing, yeah, right, in your process, yeah. If that leads you to that, you then try and book it. You have to attempt to book the meeting. If you don't attempt to book the meeting, you're missing the point of the first meeting. In attempting to book the meeting there and then, even if they say no, then you know where you stand. Now, there might be a valid reason for it. There often is. I'd say 50% of the time I don't get it because I want to do a fact find and there's other people involved in the process, okay? So then I can't book it. What I can try and do is book a pre-date in and then firm that up as we get closer. So booking the next meeting is what it's all been about. I want to get to the next meeting, but I want to get to the next meeting in a direction I want to go, yeah? So I want to do a fact find. Personally, I like to do a fact find or a workshop. That's where I want to be. So that's the first meeting. That's us finished. The final part is booking the next meeting, which we've got here. So let's get rolling. Let's be successful. And let's try and think about the structure of our firsts and how they look.